Sentence adjuncts and verb phrase adjuncts. We've been talking about adjuncts. They are the elements which are sometimes obligatory and sometimes they are omissible. However, let's see that what's the difference between sentence adjuncts and VP adjuncts. So if we look at this passage, we can find different sentences in it. So we take each of the sentence separately and try to know how many adjuncts a sentence may have. For example, if we identify some simple sentence, William walked slowly down the road. So we underline adjuncts in the sentence slowly and down the road. She was certainly a very unreasonable person. Here we have certainly. Yet he couldn't dislike her. He considered the girl quite attractive. So in this we find, for example, William walked slowly. If we finish the sentence here, we say that slowly goes good with the sentence, but we do not find anything specific about the direction of walking. However, we can omit slowly. In 78, she was certainly a very unreasonable person. We know that we have a copular verb here and a predicative noun phrase, which is a property of the noun phrase that is in the subject, she. Yet is also an adjunct. It relates the sentence with what has previously been said. Right? He considered the little girl quite attractive. So attractive adjective. So the quite is adjunct, it modifies attractive. So we have to see that whether the verb walked is intransitive or transitive, and we may decide that the verb walk requires an obligatory indication of location down the road or no, etc., which in that case function as an adverbial complement. So these are some of the questions which can be asked to us, right? So in this context, slowly seems less obligatory in the VP. For example, we can say William walked down the road. Walk down the road, that is directional. Our adjunct seems more important than William walked slowly, because if we omit slowly, we can still have a meaning, but down the road is more important. We suggest that 77 is a sentence of the subject plus verb plus adjunct type with an additional adjunct slowly. So we have two adjuncts here, but one is additional and one is more important. In 83, for example, William walked slowly down the road. We have bracketed the sentence, and now we know that what is verb phrase, what is adverb adjunct, and what is prepositional adjunct, right? So which is important. The adjunct slowly is a manner. It tells us about how walking, how slowly, right? In general, adverbial adjuncts are modifiers of the activity expressed by the verb. Sentence 78 about above contains a copula with a predicative complement realized by a noun phrase, right? As we just talked about. In this sentence, we have certainly. Certainly does not precisely modifies any part in the sentence. Rather, it modifies the whole sentence, right? So we call it sentence adjunct. So certainly is also an optional adjunct, but there is an important difference between certainly and slowly. Slowly modifies the verb phrase, walks how slowly, but certainly refers to the whole sentence. Does not refer to the time of any event or the place, but it indicates the speaker's attitude towards the rest of the sentence. So 78 mean it was certainly true that she was a very unreasonable girl, or what was certain is this she is an unreasonable girl. So in this way, focusing the sentence with certainly, we can know that certainly is certainly shows the attitude of the subject towards the sentence. Certainly is an adjunct which relates to the content of the sentence and is therefore said to be a sentence adjunct. So the sentence adjunct modifies the whole sentence. For example, certainly the lion appeared. So certainly is an adjunct which modifies the whole sentence. It tells the speaker's attitude towards the rest of the sentence. We call it sentence adjunct. The sentence adjunct may also be realized by a prepositional phrase. For example, in fact, she was a very unreasonable girl. So we have in fact, which is a prepositional phrase. So this tells the attitude of the sentence of the speaker towards the sentence. So it's a sentence adjunct by a prepositional phrase. In my opinion, she was very unreasonable girl. Again, we have in my opinion, which is a prepositional phrase. So certainly, in fact, and in my opinion modify the true value of the sentence. They do not relate to the content of the VP, either to the V or to the adjective, a noun phrase or adjective phrase or any adverb phrase in the whole of the sentence. Yet is a sentence above is also a sentence adjunct because its function is to connect sentence. It relates to whatever being said in the previous sentence. In this case, it connects he couldn't dislike her with the preceding sentence that is in the text. Other examples are adverb phrase such as however, nevertheless, then, or prepositional phrase as, in addition, in spite of, that, which are sentence phrases, adjuncts. However, what could he do about, nevertheless, we must get on with the job. So these, however, these also have relation with the whatever has been said in the previous sentence, like yet. We conclude that English has two main types of optional adjuncts: adverbial adjunct and sentence adjunct. Adverbial adjuncts appear inside the verb phrase. They may thus also be called VP-Adjunct, and sentence adjunct relate to the entire sentence, or S-adjuncts. Right, so we can also apply the tests. There's two syntactic tests which may be used to differentiate between adjuncts on the one hand and adverbial adjuncts on the one hand and sentence adjuncts on the other. It is possible to focus on certain as adverbial adjuncts but not on the sentence adjunct. She walked down the road slowly, not quickly. So we have focused on the adverbial adjunct. She arrived home before dark, fortunately, not unfortunately. So we cannot use the sentence adjunct in this way. What could he do about it? However, not moreover. So these sentences like 89 and 91 are not possible. Sentence adjunct in this way are not possible. They cannot be put into focusing, whereas adverbial adjunct can be put into focus. Similarly, it is only recently that I saw him. So we can use the other test, WH question, as can be question with WH item. How did he walk down the road slowly? So WH question is helpful in adverbial adjunct. When did you see him? Recently. But in sentence adjunct, it is, let's say, when was she a very unreasonable girl? Certainly, this is not possible. So sentence adjuncts cannot be put either with focusing or with this second WH test.